right, welcome back to the First-Time Homebuyer Survival Series. This is part 25, and we've finally made it to the end. Congratulations, at this point you are now a homeowner. Buying your first home is not easy. It's a long process, there's a lot of moving parts, and there's a lot of decisions to make. And if you've never done this before, it can feel overwhelming. But as I tried to show in this series, it's not rocket science, it's actually fairly straightforward. It might seem like it's rocket science in this current economy that we're in, but if you plan accordingly, then it's still very doable. Since this is most likely your first time owning a property, there's a few things you want to keep in mind. The main one is just maintenance. Owning a home means that things will break eventually. That's fairly normal. Furnaces, roofs, windows, the appliances, plumbing, all of it has a lifespan and all of it will have to be serviced at some point. So just make sure that you are still setting aside a bit of money every month for ongoing maintenance and general stuff that's going to have to be inevitably done to the house. Another thing to keep in mind when it comes to maintenance is that dealing with things sooner rather than later can save you a lot of trouble down the line, because it's usually problems, they start small and then they get bigger. So if there's something small that comes up, deal with it right away. Don't ignore it. Don't wait for it to become bigger over time. Now, I just want to zoom out a little bit and do a quick recap of the entire home buying process, just so that you can see it's really not that complicated and it's fairly straightforward. So the first thing we talked about was kind of the mindset. Are you ready to buy a home? Yes, no. Make sure that you're buying for the long term, not for the short term. Don't try to time the market. That doesn't tend to work out for people. So step number one is to get your finances in order. So you want to work on your credit score, save towards your down payment, look into something like the FHSA, the First Home Savings Account, to help you get there faster, and pay down whatever debts you can possible. Keep your finances nice and stable. That is going to be your foundation, and that is going to set you up for success. All right, step two, before you go out looking at homes, you want to get pre-approved for a mortgage. So you want to speak to a licensed mortgage broker, ideally, or you can speak to somebody at your bank. It's typically better to use a mortgage broker because they have more options for you, but you choose what you want to do at the end of the day. And then once you have an understanding of your numbers, then you're going to want to move into step three, which is to create your needs and your wants list. Again, this is all done before you actually go out looking at homes. Like, there's nothing wrong with browsing stuff online to sort of get an idea of what's out there as you make this list, but get an idea of what you have to have in your home that you cannot negotiate on, and then what you would like to have but could possibly remove it if need be. And then every home you see gets compared against this list. Step four is actually go out, do the fun part, which is looking at homes. View each home objectively, compare it to your needs and wants list, and then try not to view as many homes as you possibly can, because that's how you get decision fatigue. Okay, try to keep it as a tight list. I've found on average it takes about 5 to 10 showings to find one that you like. So it's normal to not like the very first home that you see, but if you're going out and viewing 37 different homes, then you might have some disjointed expectations and you might need to step back for a second. Now we move into step five, which is you found a home that you like and now it's time to make an offer. So when you do your offer, you want to look at recent sales. Don't focus on the list price. Look at what actually sold in the area that's similar to the one you want to offer on. Base your number off of that, because that is what the market value is, not the list price. That's how you avoid overpaying. Then you have your deposit and your closing date. Those are fairly straightforward. Your conditions will depend based on the property. The two most common are home inspection and financing. Your conditions just give you an opportunity to do some due diligence and potentially back out of the deal without losing your deposit. Then next thing you do is, if you had a home inspection condition, you want to book your home inspection, go through that process, and then assuming everything checks out, you waive your condition and then the deal goes firm. After that, the next step is to find yourself a lawyer and then let them do their thing. They will handle everything else from the day that the deal goes firm to closing date. They'll handle all the back end stuff. You don't have to do anything more at this point. And then finally, you have your closing date. So that's when you get the keys. All you have to worry about is doing your final walkthrough, making sure everything's good. If there are any issues, notify your agent and your lawyer. And other than that, then you're good to go. So when you zoom out like this, you see it's not really that complicated. There are some nuances that you absolutely want to watch out for. And this is why it's important to have an agent with you who's guiding you through the process, so they can point out anything that you might not be aware of, or they can help answer the questions that you're inevitably going to have. They're there to guide you through the entire process, start to finish, so that you avoid any of those costly mistakes. So if you're thinking of buying a home anywhere in Ontario and you haven't yet chosen an agent, feel free to reach out to me. You don't even have to be in Hamilton. That's where I'm based, out of Hamilton and the surrounding area, but anywhere in Ontario, even if you're all the way up in Sudbury, you can reach out to me. I can connect you with somebody who will help you out. My brokerage is Ontario wide, so we have tons of agents that will be right for you. And if you ever have any questions, even if you're not ready to start buying a home yet, you're just early in the process, you want to pick my brain a little bit, feel free to reach out. I genuinely love helping first-time buyers, and I would love to help you as well. Also, don't forget about the First-Time Homebuyer Survival Guide. If you just want to read it through as a PDF, that link is down in the description. All right, if you watched the entire series from start to finish, thank you so much. I really tried my best to make the home buying process as simple and easy as possible. Hopefully I didn't make things more confusing. If you have any questions, or you just want to leave a general comment about what you liked about the series, what you didn't like about it, or if you have any suggestions for future videos or other things you'd like to hear about, please drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. All right, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.